And we are live, I think. Hopefully, this week the Wi Fi holds out. I did reset it. No guarantees. So let me know. Let me know if you hear volume. I did also check to make sure that at least it was supposed to be working. So hopefully we've got volume. Hopefully we have enough bandwidth so that we can get this show on the road this week. I know the last stream I did, it was kind of a whole nightmare. Hopefully this week we're in a better place. So if you're watching, if you do catch this, let me know. Make sure that things are not choppy. And hey, what's up, man? I've got your slide here. Actually, we did the video last week, and I gotta say, this slide is still killing it. So glad to have you here. Glad to have you here, and anybody else who is joining in. I hope that the weekend is seeing you well, and that you've got a long weekend with tomorrow being the 3rd, and of course Tuesday being Independence Day. Yes. Also, I speaking of that video with your slide. All right, good, Seth. I hope go right. Hopefully you've got like I said, Independence Day off. You can go maybe get some range time with it. Run it like you stole it. With this video, with your slide, SCT themselves, they got a hold of me, and I'll get into what they told me. They liked the video, and I've talked to SCT on and off, but I didn't tell them anything about the video, the last 2 videos. So them hitting me up over that video just to tell me they enjoyed it was kind of cool. But they also told me something else that well, might as well get into it. SCT, because I've had people ask me, are they going to be doing any other sort of frames, and I hadn't asked. But so while I had them on the email, I said, hey, you guys gonna be doing any other frames? And the answer is yes. Aside from the other colors that they have, we're looking at a G17 frame. Now, I didn't ask if I could say this, and if I can't, then maybe they'll never trust me again. But I guess might as well bring it up. SCT is looking at doing a generation or a Glock 17 frame, generation 3, not generation 5. I know there are other Glock 17 frames out there, but they all base them around the new generation 5, which is based around a Glock 19, which limits the options. I know myself, aside from P80, really not a big P80 building fan. I could drill holes, no problem. I'm just not a big fan of the ergonomics of the P80s. So I actually have some Glock 17 stuff that I've had to kind of put on hold because I haven't found an aftermarket frame to use. But if SCT is coming out with a Glock 17 Generation 3 frame, can you say Glock 31? Oh, yes. Yes. Mike, hey, man. Bar hopping, had to tune in and say, hey, well, good. I have fun. Hopefully you've got a designated driver, and just go have some fun out there. I know everybody has been asking me to reschedule the swimming with the pontoons to later in the evening. So here we are. I'm going to try to keep this up and get back to the 5 or 6 o'clock time frame. I see more people here. It really does. It should work out better. I'll try to keep to this schedule. So yes, SCT frames, Glock 17. I guess you can say you heard it here first. If they get mad at me for spilling the beans, well, it happens. But I'm excited. They did give me a little bit of a time frame. All I can say, what I am going to say is it is this year. That's the plan. It is this year. I know I'm excited about that. I love Glock 19s. I really do. Okay, good. Wife is driving. Perfect. Hopefully she's a good driver. Women. Hey, I know some really good women drivers. I do. So that's just me making a joke. I love Glock 19s. I love the 19X, but I am excited to see another option in the Glock 17 full size market, aftermarket wise, that uses Generation 3, because Generation 5 stuff is neat. I love, it makes it more modular, but there's a lot of us that still have a bunch of Generation 3 or Generation 4 stuff out there, um, that want to have an option. Nomad has a Glock 17 frame, but it's Generation 5. You've got the Zero Delta frame right here, which we'll talk about a little bit more. It's Generation 5. So that you're looking at a narrower window. So SCT, I think they got a good thing going on. We will see. Also, you'll probably hear some wind noise. Okay. It's July in Louisiana. I have an AC unit in this shop. It's not the greatest. It's probably a little bit small, even though it is a 220. It's a little bit small for this shop. It's July in Louisiana, so it's warm. I do have a fan on, and I'm sure the microphone picks it up. It's just the way it is. As you can see, I've got some perspiration coming through on my awesome shirt. Speaking of this shirt, it is a Leonidas. This is a Leonidas shirt from the man with the plan, Nordic Nevadan. He has been coming up. He has been coming up with some excellent tactical pontoon shirts. More are coming. I should link him. If he doesn't show up, he'll link here in the chat somewhere. But he's got some badass shirts, and I'm rocking them. Okay, so if you don't have a Leonidas trigger and you're saving up for one, at the very least, you can get a Leonidas shirt. It's cheaper than the trigger. It's almost as badass as the trigger, I am going to say, especially in this green. I do love the green. Let me catch up on chat. Mike, she loves the trigger. All right. Triggered by the triggered masculinity sticker. That's awesome. Well, hey, I'm glad she does. I'll have to ship some more out that way. Yes, this sounds fine. Okay, good. The shirt is epic. I gotta say, if you have a Leonidas, one of my Leonidas triggers, you might as well have the shirt, and then if somebody asks about it, you can show them your Leonidas trigger. You might as well represent. And like I said, the shirt is definitely cheaper than the trigger. You probably can make more of the shirts than I can of the Leonidas triggers every month, because they take a lot of work. I was limiting them down to 5 a month. I've actually I can do about 10 of those a month with all the other responsibilities I have with Tactical Pontoon. So I've become more efficient at them, but there's still that fitment they're still limited. Right now for July, I've got a couple spots open. So if you do want to get the best trigger system for a Glock Leonidas, there are a couple spots open on the website. So they're still available. But like I said, 10 is about the most I would ever want to do in a month at this point. Hey, and speaking of the man, Nordic Nevadan, Stuart is here. He is here. And his shirt, even though I am sweating through it profusely, it's still a badass shirt. He rocked it with this one. And I know that he's got one coming up for the Heisenberg. Okay. Now, that's all I'm going to say. Leonidas, badass shirt. The Tactical Pontoon shirts, which you've seen me in the other streams, are some of my favorite shirts. He's the man. Prices are great. Shipping is on point, and they are comfortable. They are very comfortable. So if you're looking to get a Tactical Pontoon shirt, he's the man to talk to. Get with him. Okay, so here we are. It's almost the 4th of July, Independence Day. There are a couple sales on the website. If you didn't subscribe to the newsletter, you're only going to see the sale on the Peacemaker 4.0. Okay. With the newsletter, you will there's a code for $20 off any trigger system. and that code is freedom. Makes sense. And then there's a code, which for some reason I cannot remember offhand. I should have subscribed to the newsletter for $40 off any 2 Peacemaker trigger systems. So I should have subscribed to the newsletter so I can tell you what it is. Go figure. There is a good possibility that I may do one more. V-neck. There you go. I'm sure Stuart can make that happen. Now there I did finally release the Heisenberg trigger system for the Glock 43 on the website. It's been something that I've done for a few people over the years. Is a little bit more competition build for the 43s and the CR 920s. Right now there's a couple of them out there, but I finally released them on the website. So, and I try to make it as easy as possible, but we all know that I'm terrible at building a website. If you click on the shop and then triggers and then G43 CR920, it'll pop up at the top. Like I said, I've tried to make the website easier as time goes on, but it's still kind of a mess nightmare. We'll get better. It's better than it was. Like I said, for the G43, you've got the Heisenberg competition system. So, hey, love you too, Mike. I'll be in touch. If you need anything, if you got any questions, trigger-wise or whatnot, I'm always here. What is the difference between the two, the what was my former top of the line option with the Peacemaker Extreme carry for the G43? What is the difference between that and the Heisenberg competition? Because the trigger shoe is the same. Yes, it is. Okay. Because it's a badass trigger shoe. Why change that? What is different though? Well, just like the other Heisenbergs, this is an adjustable trigger. It has an adjustable trigger stop, just like the other Heisenbergs. It also comes with, you're looking at about anywhere from half a pound to a full pound lighter than the Peacemaker Extreme. Now, the Peacemaker Extreme is rated at a 4-pound break. Okay. Steven, hey man, good to have you here. As you can see, a little bit later, like I had planned, I told you guys I would start to do these streams later. So that's good. I'll get you guys back in here because the earlier streams, it was kind of thin in here because it really wasn't a good time for you guys. So I got it back to the normal time. Okay. Heisenberg versus the Peacemaker Extreme for the G43 or CR920s. With the Heisenberg, for those, you're looking at right around a 3 to 3.5 pound break. It has the adjustable over travel stop, and I am going to be sending it with probably 2 striker springs. That way a person could tune it. The thing about the G43, unlike your Glock 17s or Glock 19s, there's not a wide range of like a lightweight striker available. There are a few, they're few and far between. So I'm going to send 2 striker springs. One that I know for sure is going to rock and roll with almost all of your ammunition, and then one that could be kind of iffy. So you want to make sure that you've got, and like any competition trigger, you're going to have to play with it. It does come with a reduced weight safety plunger. It's going to come with the same connector. I don't really find a reason to change the connectors out. Where you're still looking at, like I said, a 3.5 to 3 pound trigger, adjustable over travel stop. So not only do you already have the fastest reset on the market, it's actually a little bit faster than the Peacemaker Extreme because it's adjustable. It's a beast of a trigger. It's now available for the Glock 43s, which it wasn't. Glock 43 CR920s. Let's see, Steven. I use Wolf. I've had really good luck with the Wolf reduced safety plunger springs. There's a couple others out there that are a finer wire, but because Wolf is the way I've just went with, not had any need to change with those. I also because I have a manufacturer that does my SIG springs, that does my Generation 5 Glock springs, and the competition springs, Glock performance trigger springs. I could get them to do them, but Wolf is just they've served me well. Leonidas trigger. Yeah, there you go, Seth. Time there's room on this coming month. So before the end of July, it should ship out. Zev, yeah, is with the shorter spring, you are, of course, when it comes to reassembly and all that stuff, it does make it it can be kind of a pain. I have messed with the Zev spring. You need to get more, Matt. Okay, well, um, I've got a decent amount. I think I placed an order. About to place an order for probably another couple hundred. So I've got them. If you need, shoot me an email, shoot me a message, Matt. I'll get you taken care of. Um, where was? Okay, I talked about the Heisenberg. Speaking of PSA, because old Matt PSA is here in the house. Here soon, yes, they work on the micro daggers, G43, all that good stuff. Delta build. Yes, the Zero Delta. We'll talk a little bit about that here in just a bit. The one thing I did notice that I did not bring up in my previous video on the Zero Delta is the rear rails are polymer. So, I mean, polymer rear tongue twister, rear rails will work. It's not my favorite thing in the world. So, one thing I didn't catch. Like I said, it's not exactly a deal breaker, but it definitely puts it in more of I wouldn't call it, well, like I said in the video, more of a gimmick frame than anything else. But then again, a frame like this, it's not something you're going to want to EDC. This really is a frame that you're just going to want to build the perfect, if you will, competition gun, or your perfect build for showing off or displaying or just taking it out and having fun with. So yes, like the XD, polymer rear rails. That's actually what I was thinking about. And also the original P80s, which I've got one hiding around here somewhere. Remember how fun those were? The original P80 that you actually had to mill the rear rails out of a solid piece of plastic. Those were fun. Those were a lot of fun. Okay, PSA. Let me go back. One of the things that I've got something new for. It's targeted more to the dagger crowd or kind of more of a budget crowd, and that will be what I'll call a tune-up kit. Okay, a tune-up kit instead of a full trigger system. Because I've looked at the market, I've looked at, I guess you could call them competitors. You've got Apex that's got their little kit that includes their connector and their trigger with a trigger bar. Who else? There are a couple others. Mainly Apex. Let's just go. Why don't I pick on Apex? I'll pick on Apex while I'm here, because Apex is a decent trigger. It's not the best looking trigger. Probably one of the uglier triggers. It is probably one of the more comfortable triggers, but it's definitely ugly. It has terrible tolerances. That thing wiggles like crazy in the frame. So it's more of a combat trigger. So I figured, why not come up with something that just blows their little kit out of the water and price wise just knocks it out of the park. So it's coming. I'm working on the final details. I need to include a little bit of badger snot in the package, but I have to do, I want a small enough measure of the badger snot to make it worth it, and also package it all together. So I'm working on that. That will be coming out probably middle of July of this month. This month being July, something to kind of knock it out of the park for the daggers and your budget P80 builds, or if it's just your just like a tuning kit for your Generation 3. So I'm going to kind of keep it more specific to like a Generation 3. There's going to be some springs and stuff involved. Generation 3. I'll probably do something for the Glock 43 because my Glock 43 kits or CR920 kits are priced higher than the rest of everything in the market because those parts are more expensive. And then, of course, the work that I do to the Glock 43 it's extensive to get them to rock and roll the way that I want them to do. So that's coming. And then, of course, you got the drop-in kits, drop-in trigger kits, which are already priced really well for their performance to the rest of the market for drop-ins. Okay. Why don't we go into we kind of talked about the SCT build. If you didn't catch it, SCT's got another frame coming out, and they didn't tell me, they didn't specify, and I didn't ask if I could say anything. So I'm just going to kind of assume that I can say it. And if they get mad at me, well, shouldn't have told me. Glock 17 SCT frames around the Generation 3 parts. So not Generation 5 like a lot of the other aftermarkets. You're looking at an SCT frame, Glock 17. Can you say Glock 31? I can say Glock 31. I've got parts for those. I have been waiting for a good full-size Glock 17 frame. SCT's bringing it. It's supposed to be this year. We will see. They gave me a date. I figure I'll at least hold on to that one because I don't want it to turn into a micro situation. You hear that, Matt? You hear that, Matt? I don't want it to turn into a PSA micro situation where everybody gets mad because I gave a date and it's not. It may not happen then. So we'll see. The other thing, I forgot to bring this up. You can see, and I just remembered because it's on this frame. It's a brass back plate, slide cover plate. These are coming to the website. This one does not have my logo on it. Neither do the rest of them because they're off to get laser etched. I held on to one so that I could show them off. So new Glock slide plates. Obviously, I'm not going to do an armorer's plate in the brass because that would just be kind of a waste of an armor of a nice looking plate. I will still have the black plates and the black aluminum armorer's plates on the website, but brass will be an option. I'm going to go with the newer logo, which I don't have in front of me. It's the same basic TP together, but it's going to have the square around it. So those are coming to the website very soon. Like I said, they're off to get laser etched as we speak. I plan on it being kind of a deeper laser etch. It'll be a little bit deeper than just the surface etch that a lot of the others do. So that's the plan. Brass monkey sticker. Hey, maybe. We'll see. I have not developed the next sticker. We did the Heisenberg sticker, and then right before that, which was one that I enjoy, is the Michelangelo sticker. Before that, there was the Batman. It's always a fun one. The Triggered Masculinity. Man, I've got so many stickers. My sticker game is beast mode. Nobody else comes close. I mean, think about it. Got this one. This is one of my favorites still. I need to order more of these. I've run out of those. Definitely need to do the next sticker variation. It's been busy. It has been busy. I did turn on my AC, but it's hot. Also, I have to get new ear earphones. These are actually coming apart. So if you see little black specks on my face, I mean, I do get down and dirty, but it is my earphone. The cups on my earphones are flaking and coming apart. So fun stuff. But I did turn on my AC. I actually have a fan running, and it's warm. I'm in the spotlight, so there's lights on. It's July. Looks uncomfortable, I know. I'm sweating profusely through my Leonidas shirt. Probably gonna stain it. Yeah. So yes, Dave, Desert Tactical. Follow his channel. He should be relatively soon. He's got a Heisenberg that should be doing a video on relatively soon. I know, busy dude, so we'll see. Trigger Jedi and toxic masculinity on, or triggered masculinity on your workbench. Hey, have fun with those stickers. That is one thing that I kind of haven't seen lately. I wish people, well, I need to ask people, take pictures, send them to me. Wherever you put those stickers, I'm kind of curious. Unless it's Jesse Hudson. um, take some pictures, be creative. If you need a sticker, let me know. I'll send you a sticker. Get creative, post them on Instagram, tag me to it, Facebook, tag me to it, because I want to get them out. They are when you got the best sticker game in town, you got to show it off, and maybe it'll motivate some people to be more creative with their own sticker game. Now, granted, I had a pretty week. I missed last week. My good friend Scott he came into town, and so I didn't get a chance to stream then. There will probably be a break in the streams at the end of the month. I've got family coming into town, so we should get at least a couple weeks. There'll be a break, and then we'll jump on to the next one. Did you catch the latest video? I had the SCT frame build. Good video. This is an excellent build. It's got the Blue Sky Heisenberg trigger system in it. There's a couple of these left. I think there's 2 or 3 Heisenberg Blue Skies left. They're limited. So if you like this color and you want the limited Blue Sky edition, only a couple left. Marconi slide. He was in the chat earlier. This is a cool slide. He's still got some available. He also has a 40 caliber version, Glock 23 version, which for those of you who still like the 40 slow and weak, or are a freak like me and like 357 SIG, that would be an excellent slide for one. So good video there. I also did a video. The previous week I did a video that was a good troubleshooting video, kind of teach you guys some troubleshooting, and it was supposed to be part of the live that got destroyed the previous week when my Wi-Fi just went crazy, on how to start troubleshooting and seeing possible issues and catch them with either a new slide or a freshly Cerakoted slide, things that you can see that will tell you maybe where your issues are. If you've got a slide that won't go into battery, or you have a slide that is having some reset issues or trigger breaking issues, places that you can look. It's a good video. Check it out. It's definitely going to help you guys get into troubleshooting. And it also helps me out because it's stuff that I run into that I can just send you a video link to, so you can check it out yourself. And that way I don't have to explain it or do a phone call, or that. You can just check it out. You can pause it, fast forward it to where you need. Good video. Previous week, I did a video on just basic install and troubleshooting for pretty much any of my systems except for the Leonidas. I do need to do a video on some of the things that you might run into with the Leonidas, a few pre-travel adjustments, or also it goes into some of the things in the slide that you might see with the pre-travel reduction. So more videos are coming. I am working on them. I want to kind of look at the CR920 trigger parts. I talk about it being a hybrid trigger. And I think with the video I did on the CR920, I kind of looked at them. I do want to look at them in more detail to show you guys what I'm talking about when I call it a hybrid and kind of why it sucks and probably why they did it, which comes down to patent issues, would be my guess. And more than likely, I could be wrong, why the PSA micro is going to have to go down a similar path, why theirs is probably going to be a hybrid as well. So this will kind of help when the time comes why you might want to upgrade your trigger when the micro hits, why it may suck. But then again, I could be wrong. I don't actually have any real insider information as to that micro trigger, which is the Glock 43 variation from the dagger, micro dagger from PSA. But good chances are it's going to go down the same route, and it may suck, but it may not. So we got that. Videos coming. I will have a video. Hey, Matt, good to have you here. What's up, man? I hope your weekend's good. Hopefully it's a long weekend and you've got Independence Day off, or maybe just a short Monday and then all of Tuesday off. Okay, the next build that is coming up on the channel, this JMC or JM Customs. He's a guy. There's actually a video on earlier on, probably going on 3 years now. He did a grip module, a Glock 19 for me. He also did Cerakote. Excellent. He's a guy I've been working with for a while, and we decided to we're going to be working together again. He's got a new slide design. This is what he calls his Chimera slide, because he's branching out just like I am. He's branching out. He's been doing grip work. He's got hybrid grip work where he does laser and hand stippling, Cerakote. Well, now he's got a slide, so he can offer an entire build in-house with a customized Peacemaker 4.0. Yes, it's not a standard 4.0 Peacemaker. He does have a customized version with a little extra action to make it perfection. So these slides, this Chimera slide, I believe he will be offering them separate, but I think for the most part, they will be with his shop builds. Okay, so you got knurls. I am a geek for knurls. I love a good slide with some knurls on it. It has up top, this one is not a ported barrel, but I believe most of his builds will have a ported barrel with his slide. So it's got the window up top. And Matt, yes, JM Customs. He does awesome work. Like I said, the grip module that he did, the Glock 19 that he did for me is early on when he was doing all hand stippling, all hand framework, and it was an excellent work then. He's just gotten better over time, and that was early on in his career. So he has just gotten better. I will be doing a full build with him soon, but this time we just decided to do one. I got a hold of one of his new Chimera slides. This thing is a beast. You will see some better pictures than this terrible video because right now the lighting's not great and the camera's not zoomed in on it. I got some good pictures on Instagram. This is a really, really nice slide. I've got one of the first ones. If you get a chance and you do a full build with him, you will get an awesome, he does awesome work when it comes to his grip work. His Cerakote work is good. He does. I don't know how in depth his Cerakote work is. I think he's doing mainly single color Cerakote, but he may have. Maybe I can get him hooked up with Sapper. We can get one. We can get a just a full collaboration. I might have Sapper Tactical do some Cerakote work for me on his Chimera slide with some work from him on the grip. We'll see, but awesome work. Marconi, yes, man. Hey, glad to shout you out. Your slide is a beast. I will hit you up for a Glock 40 slide here soon, or Glock 23, so I can do a Glock 32 357 SIG. So, yes, awesome. Yeah, Clint at Sapper Tactical, his Cerakote work is killer. He does some amazing work. So I've been very fortunate to work with him on several different projects. So back to JMC or Josh McCabe at JM Customs. Slides badass. Definitely looking forward to finishing this build up, and it will go on a 0 Delta, their one frame, which is polymer. It's not the aluminum version. The aluminum one was named something else and I can't remember it. I originally, when I ordered this, I thought it was the aluminum one, but this is the polymer. This frame, I've heard good things, I've heard bad things. Looking at it in hand and kind of playing with it, it's not my favorite frame. It's a neat frame. Again, it does have the polymer rear rails. Not a huge fan of that. But then again, it is what it is. It will work. You've got a good beefy rail or locking block up front. It is a dedicated locking block. It is a Generation 5 Glock 19 base. So you can build it out to become a Glock 34, or if somebody makes a Generation 5 Glock 17L, you could make that happen with the different little modules. This right now is set up as a Glock 19X with the longer frame. I have medium-sized girl hands. It is a little bit chunky for me. If I lock all of this down, maybe because it does seem to be a softer polymer, it's not a full-on hard fiberglass polymer like your SCTs, like your P80s. It might take some shape, so we will see. So that's what it's going to go on. Neat frame. Again, may not be for everybody. It's not for everybody. Yes, little girl hand problems. They're medium-sized little girl hands. At least that's kind of what I'm going to go with. Steven, 47 MOS. Yes, 47's neat style. I'm glad they finally I mean, basically it's going to take away from the Glock 17. It's a neat frame. So 47's cool. Did you put I have not run a trigger. I've not fully put this guy together yet. So that's coming along. I was waiting to come up with a good combination, something interesting before I really dug into this frame. So it's coming along. Once everything comes together, there'll be pictures and there'll be a video on it, and we'll look farther at how good of a frame it is. We'll put some rounds through it. We'll figure it out. It is a little, this is not a cheap frame. And depending on their production run, I waited 9 months for this thing. For a while there, they had taken it off the website. I thought that it just disappeared. I put a deposit down on it. It wasn't much. It might have only been like $10, or maybe it was $1. I don't remember. I kind of thought it disappeared. And then one day, out of the blue, they called me up and said, "Hey, would you like to pay for the rest of your frame? It is available." So I figured, why not? And they're like $300, thereabouts. Kind of expensive. The Combat Armory frame, yeah, Dave, that's not a bad frame. Between the Combat Armory and the SCT, I kind of, and some people are definitely going to tell me I'm stupid, but I actually prefer the SCT frame, even though it's got a little bit clunkier ergonomics. I like the way it looks, and with my little girl hands, it does fit pretty well. And when you send it off for some framework, like I did, this framework was done by Defiant Customs. You can watch the video. Did an excellent job. And even with this heavy fiberglass frame, he knocked it out of the park. He did awesome. Normally with stipple work and a heavy fiberglass frame, they can come out kind of clunky. He knocked it out of the park. It is grippy. It is not something I'd want to EDC, but for the range, and it could be EDC. For the range, it's grippy. He rocked it. So yes. Yeah, depending on the person, and it's funny because you've heard me say it before. I'm not a P80 fan. I'm really not. I don't like the ergonomics. I don't like the feel of P80s. And maybe I'm lazy, but I'm not big on drilling my own frames. I drilled a lot of holes. I have drilled a lot of holes in aircraft. Very careful to make sure that everything lines up. So for me, P80 is just, it doesn't do much for me. And I do a lot of fitting, so just not my thing. Going back to even though this is kind of blocky, it works for me. I like it. The combat armory does feel good. I don't hate the combat armory in any way, shape, or form. My nitpicks, and this is something other people have brought up, and I think Dave, you brought it up as well. Their locking block mold that they use for injection molding. I'm sure it's an MIM injected molded locking block. It's not the greatest. I think you had a little issue with yours. The ones I got were kind of iffy. A normal Glock locking block, Glock 19 locking block does fit in them. Probably a good upgrade. The other part is their rails they're kind of rough. Now, I did on a couple of them that I've put together, I polished them up. They're not bad. They're not the best rail out there. Let me go to Liam here real quick. Which grip do you like? Which do you like better? SCT versus P80 versus Nomad versus OZ9. Nomad. Okay. Nomad. I love the Nomads. I don't have one here right in vicinity, but I do have several Nomads. I've been working with Nomad for a good amount of time. Love their grips. Granted, it's a bit more expensive. So price wise, it is more expensive. They do have the best ergonomics. I love a good Nomad. The OZ9 is I love the OZ9. I like the chassis. I hate their grips. I sent my OZ9 grip out to Clint at Sapper Tactical. He made it actually fit a human hand and look like it fits a human hand. I understand that that Zev was trying to go for some fancy ergonomic grip, but not only did it look like crap, it just didn't fit my little girl hand. Okay, maybe it fits your hand. I never liked it until I had Clint fix it up. Matt, let me go to Stuart. I like my P80 frames, but I buy them serialized and ready to go. Too lazy to deal with drilling. Hey, that's the way to go. I am completely for unserialized P80 frames. I got no problem with them. I'm good with it. But just like Stuart there, I don't need to drill holes. I can make them fit. I don't even need a jig. I can drill a P80 without a jig. I don't need it. I've done way more intense drilling in my time, but I just don't. For me, it doesn't do anything for me. But if it does for you, I'm all for it. I will build you a beast of a trigger. And I have seen some very good, very tight fitting P80s that run and will outrun a Glock any day of the week. So I don't hate them. They're just not for me. Liam loves the OZ9. Uh, you absolutely have alien hands. Hey, if you've got alien hands, you got the suckers on the end of the hands, and if, and that OZ9 fits you, that is great. I love the OZ9. Like I said, I have one. Finally bit the bullet because I had one for the shop for a while, and I got rid of it. I finally went ahead and I got another one for the shop, and I sent the grip out. I love the way the grip is now. I got a video here on the channel. I really like how tight fitting that stainless steel chassis is. The OZ9 is nice. They are pricey, even when they do go on sale, because they're normally like $700. Even when they do go on sale for like 350, Zev likes to charge $75 to ship it, which is a bit excessive. It's a bit excessive. So it was still not a cheap frame in any way, shape, or form. Let's see. Desert. Yeah, the locking block, pretty rough. And even like you said, yeah, even when I saw your video where you polished up that locking block, it still didn't look pretty. Yeah. Steven, yeah, Steven they probably have the best RMR cut out of the box. Nameless, I see Nameless Armament. They've got some really good. There's some really good aftermarket where you send your slides out for RMR cuts. They're pretty tight. They're getting up there. Ryan, just wanted to stop in and say thank you. Had a problem with your dagger not too long ago, and I posted within 5 minutes, and your suggestion was a solution. Thank you. Hey, I am glad to help. The dagger community is one that has been very good to Tactical Pontoon, and I try to help out. I really do. I try. Yeah, I make fun of people buying some of the Tyrant triggers, and I try to be careful, not judge too much, but I also try to bring out information, cut through all the marketing crap, and just help you guys out. I try to help out a lot of people. The Glock market, whether it's the high end Glock market, the P80 market, uh, SCT, and of course the dagger. I try to help people out. I got banned out of the shadow groups. I don't know why. I don't know why. OZ9, they kicked me out too. Do not know why. I think they were jealous of my triggers. I do not know. Let's see. So yes, Nomad is probably my favorite aftermarket grip. I do have to say, and it may happen, if PSA had not done the roll pins, it would be up there in my top, because they have a very ergonomic grip. The dagger is a very ergonomic grip. It is a nice grip. Not a huge fan of the removable rear rails, but then again, that really doesn't matter as long as they work. The one thing I will say about the dagger, and I haven't dug too far into it, is the magazine release spring. And it doesn't matter what spring you put in it, whether it's their dagger spring or whether it's a Glock spring, it is kind of stiff. Now, I haven't dug too far into it to really play with it to kind of see as to what maybe they put it at a different angle, or maybe the pocket for their spring is a little bit different, causing there to be more tension. I haven't really played with it, but it is one thing I've noticed with the daggers. It is a thing. So yeah, roll pins. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of roll pins in guns. CZP10C is another one. Roll pins, not a huge fan. H&K VP9, it's got some funky roll pins. Now, if you've got some good roll pin punches and you've got a good block for supporting your gun, or you've got an arbor press, they're not too bad. But I have seen people screw some roll pins up. I've screwed up roll pins. To be honest with you, I have screwed up so many pins early on for not having the right tool. I am a MacGyver. I mean, in for better or worse, and I've gotten better as time goes on. Aviation definitely helped me with that, especially in the field. Now, granted, in my own life, I kept more of the MacGyver stuff, but I've gotten better about it. I'm a MacGyver. Uh, so I have screwed some stuff up by not having the right tools. I will tell you, having the right pin punches for roll pins, for your other pins, have the right tools, have the right punches, have the right block. An arbor press. When I bought an arbor press for Tactical Pontoon, it changed my life. Made me more efficient. I screwed up less stuff. I have a graveyard of triggers that I screwed up because I didn't have an arbor press and I was still trying to punch them out, sometimes with the wrong punch, with a hammer. I learned the hard way, the expensive way. Let me catch up with chat. Saw a sale on the CMC Glock trigger. Lots of issues. Me and the CMC triggers go way back. When they first released, not only were they were about $180, $170. I think they've dropped down to like $130 now. And they're not worth that. And they definitely weren't worth 170 back in the day. It's terrible trigger design. It's a terrible safety design. It works sometimes. Their safety design, because of where they mounted the safety pin, it's just really funky. And in some frames, especially generation 4s and 5s, which are already kind of weird with safeties, they're just, sometimes they catch. It's weak. I know last I saw they went to an aftermarket trigger bar, which was kind of iffy. The one that they were using, CMC Glock triggers are garbage. My rule of thumb when it comes to, uh, granted, get a Tactical Pontoon trigger and all that stuff, but to just level with you guys, my own marketing aside, if they build an AR trigger, they make a shit Glock trigger, plain and simple. CMC, probably the best uh, uh, example of this. Their Glock trigger is terrible. Obviously, Timney, we can rant about that. The other one is who is it? There's another one out there that they make an AR trigger and they make a Glock trigger. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Just don't. Strike Industries mag release. Okay. Like I said, I got to look into it a little bit more, but they've been relatively stiff for me. Yes, VP9 has roll pins and alligator pins. That's what they've got. Yes. Yeah, and it wears out the frame. It chews up the frame. I know when I was developing the VP9 trigger system, which is now the Excommunicado system for it, man, I was worried about just destroying that VP9 frame. And that VP9 frame, it's not like a Glock where you can just go buy another one and they're paper thin to begin with. I was worried about destroying that. And if you have trouble with a Glock trigger system, don't mess with your VP9. Glock would be like a 1970s small block Chevy, very simple, early 70s, not emissions 70s, 76 and plus. So call it early or mid 60s Chevy basic to the VP9, which is like a 1990s Volkswagen Jetta. There's just it's a different animal. My VP9 trigger is a thing of beauty on an already decent trigger, but it does take some you got to know what you're doing. And I know I didn't know what I was doing when I first pulled that thing apart. Yes, CMC AR trigger, a lot of people like them. Yes. They're not bad. Then again, when it comes to AR triggers, I'm not an expert. I know some nice ones, but I don't claim to be an AR trigger uh, master or concierge, whatever. I'm messing up the words as we go. Mouth is getting dry. We're almost at the 1 hour mark, and that's normally when I start to mess up words. Embalmed. What is an alligator pin? An alligator pin, it's got, unless, yeah, basically it's like a roll pin, but where the edges meet, they look like an alligator jaw. So along the length of the pin, it looks like it's got teeth. That's an alligator pin. Okay, mine would be a first gen VP9, well VP40, or before I sent it out for work, it was a VP357 with because I'm weird, and it fed really well, unlike my USP. I went with a what's their name? Rim County. It's either Rim County or Rim Country Manufacturing barrel, turned into a VP357. So mine was an earlier one. So the 2020 models, they're easy. Okay, mine's an older one. I'll have to look at that. The light slide. Are you talking their 9mm slide? I know they actually it seems they just came out with a G43 light slide. Strike. Some of their stuff's not bad. Some of their stuff is not bad, especially for the price point that they come in. Now, what I like about Strike Industries is they're innovative. They try to think outside the box. Sometimes some of their stuff is kind of iffy because they thought way too, they basically will create stuff, a solution to problems that don't really exist. So I like some of their stuff. Their machine work overall is normally not too bad. I have one of their Strike did a Glock trigger in, I think it was about 2018, 2019. It was a neat looking trigger. Not super innovative, but what they forgot to do is and I believe the original design was supposed to have travel limiting screws in it. But when they finally released it, I'm guessing to keep the price down, they got rid of the travel limiting screws. Well, what happened was the safety dingus, the safety tab in the trigger was designed with shorter than normal so that you could kind of limit the travel. Well, because in this time frame, the P80s were kind of the new hotness on the market. Well, the P80 has a large trigger guard opening. What was happening was those Strike Industry trigger shoes were basically unsafe because you could literally pull the trigger all the way without even touching the safety tab. You could pull the trigger and the trigger would break before it ever hit the trigger guard. So they quickly went off the market. They said they were going to come out with a new one, but they never did. Can't really blame them. That's a crappy thing. They ended up recalling them. They gave people credit. I'm sure they lost a lot of money on those because they did sell, like, I'm sure they sold like hotcakes. It was a neat looking design. I still have one. It was actually what became the Leonidas because of how it had all of the limit, that trigger shoe, the safety had the safety was shorter, and it became the first Leonidas where I didn't have to cut the safety. So actually the basis for the Leonidas system is thanks to a Strike Industries trigger shoe. So And I still have that one. It is in, and it worked really well, and it looked really good in the Iron Man Glock 19. So there we go. Oh yeah, sometimes they'll have a roll pin inside of that pin for the alligator pin. Okay, 105 in Vegas. Whew. With only 8% humidity. So it probably feels like about 110 or so. Let me check here. Let's see what we've got for humidity in Louisiana. It says it's 94 with feels like 103. What is the humidity at? Oh, I don't know. It doesn't say right now. I'm not old enough to look at the weather enough and read all this stuff. Not old enough for that. It's hot, it's humid, it's soupy, and I am sweating like crazy, even though the fan feels good. Remember someone mentioned dry heat. The temps are in the shade. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's hot in many parts of the country, whether it's dry heat, whether it's crazy humidity like here in Louisiana. The heat is hot. We'll just go with that. Anything in the 90s, that's pretty much too warm. So I am looking forward to the fall, not winter. And I grew up in Missouri where we had all 4 seasons, and ice, snow, all that stuff. I don't miss that. I definitely don't miss that, and I don't look forward to winter. Fall and spring. If it was like that all year round, well, then we'd all be weak. But hey, you know what? I'd be okay with that. Okay, guys, I am going to call that for today. I think we had it was good to see everybody. I will try to keep the 5 or 6 time frame. That just seems to work better on Sundays and not that earlier stuff. So as it is, guys, I'll head out of here, out of the shop into reality, get back to some actual air conditioning, enjoy the rest of the evening. We've got Independence Day coming up. If you guys need anything, as always, shoot me an email, shoot me a message on here, or leave a comment. I will I'll answer it back. So as it is, try to stay cool, and yeah, that's it for number 29 of Swimming with the Pontoon. Looks like we're just knocking them down. All right, guys, I will catch you next time. Later.